From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
When a child runs, it's very stressful. The parents are very worried.
Helping our community's kids, how a Billings nonprofit is expanding, all to help missing and runaway youth.
As the federal government shutdown continues to drag on, Congressman Troy Downing visited the Helena Regional Airport Monday to draw attention to the work of the federal employees working through the shutdown without pay.
It sounds like they've taken some real common sense steps.
Setting up a safer skiing season, what Red Lodge mountain staff are doing now to bolster security on the slopes with their triple chair lift. Those stories and much more coming up in the next hour. Good morning and welcome back to Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, October 28th. I'm Hailey Monaco here with Miller Robson. Good morning, Miller.
And good morning, Hailey. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Beautiful day on the way today.
Yes,
yeah,
thank
a lot of
goodness.
sunshine.
I will tell you though, when I was
what's that?
driving to work today, I had the first time ever where it popped up with ice possible on the roads.
Really? Yeah.
Yes,
well,
so it was that cold.
It is cold out there. Pretty seasonal out there. Some of us down into the 20s, below the freezing mark. It's a sign of the time. But we still have the possibility of seeing some 60s maybe tomorrow and maybe again on Saturday. How about that? So it's Montana, it's Wyoming. Wait 5 minutes and the weather will change. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday. We did have a little bit of cloud cover. Actually, when I went to the Y yesterday, had a little bit of snow. A few flakes hit the windshield. How about that? But we did get up to 50 yesterday, so a little bit below average. We're going to kind of try to hit 50 again today, but tomorrow above the norm, maybe some areas knocking on the door of 60. Our low yesterday of 32, pretty seasonal. Top gust of 35 miles an hour. As we get into tomorrow through Thursday morning, those winds will pick up with the passing of a cold front. We'll tell you more about that coming up. Pretty dry yesterday, just a few drops of rain, maybe a few flurries, and that's about it. We're really into a pretty dry stretch, and even though we do have a front through tomorrow, it's pretty dry. We may have a chance of rain for the weekend, not looking likely at this point though. But for the month and for the year, we're still pacing ahead. Pretty dry out there right now, outside of seeing some snow up there in the northeast corner of the state. Temperatures right now in the 20s and 30s, sitting at 32 here in Billings at the airport, which is exactly where we should be, but it feels like 24 degrees, winds out the southwest at about 9 miles an hour. Day planner today, a lot of sunshine. By lunchtime, we'll be in the low to mid 40s, around 50 by the time we hit the drive at 5. 40s and 50s today, 50s, maybe even a few areas flirting with 60 tomorrow. And then we see the cold front come in to cool us down, but we're not done with the 60s yet. Could see that on Saturday. We'll take a look at that. And a lot of questions about Halloween still. We'll tell you about that coming up too.
Wonderful. Sounds great. Thank you, Miller.
Okay.
And we start this morning in Helena and at airports across Montana. Now, the federal government shutdown is heading into its 4th week. Montana Congressman Troy Downing visited Helena to shine a spotlight on TSA workers who haven't been getting paid. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian spoke with him about how close Congress might be to a deal.
The U.S. House hasn't been in full session since September, and that's meant members like Troy Downing have been making the case to resolve the government funding impasse from their home districts.
We're all hoping and praying that we can get past this quickly because it's not good for America.
On Monday morning, Downing visited Helena Regional Airport, bringing along coffee and donuts as a thank you to TSA and air traffic control employees who are still working and starting to miss paychecks.
Some may say, well, they're still going to get paid, later, but not everybody has the luxury of having, enough money or reserves to, cover their expenses now going forward. A lot of folks need that paycheck to come in.
Most TSA and air traffic control workers are considered essential and keep working without pay during a funding lapse. During the last government shutdown in 2018 and 2019, there were increasing reports of airport staffing shortages leading to delays as it went on. This weekend, national media reported a jump in staffing issues at airports across the country. Helena Regional Airport Director Jeff Wadecamper says so far they've been lucky in this area and haven't seen many direct impacts since the shutdown began. But there have been some impacts at larger airports that have spilled over and affected Helena.
At some of the bigger hub airports and the air traffic system in general, that's typically where we see more delays and things of that nature that may or may not be tied to the shutdown, might be tied to other operational issues, things like that. But locally here, knock on wood, so far so good.
Throughout the shutdown, Democrats have made calls for things like extending subsidies for health plans under the Affordable Care Act. Republicans like Downing have said discussions on those issues won't happen until there's agreement on a clean funding extension. Still, Downing believes there's a strong possibility Congress could find a way to reopen government as soon as next week.
I really think there's already so much pressure from industry that requires those federal programs. from folks that are, that maybe threaten to not get their, nutritional assistance, the SNAP or the WIC payments. There's so much out there that's going to put pressure on getting people to the table.
In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Now, as Jonathan reported, today is the day when TSA workers across the country will miss a full paycheck due to the shutdown. And coming up later in the hour, we are checking in live with our Joe St. George in Washington, who breaks down what the union representing air traffic controllers is doing today to push lawmakers to a resolution. Now, meanwhile, in the Caribbean, Hurricane Melissa is already making landfall in Jamaica this morning. Now, this is a live look. These cameras are live right now in Jamaica, showing you kind of what's going on this morning. Now, it's bringing flash flooding, landslides, and dangerous storm surge. Now, the storm intensified into a Category 5 storm Monday. Meteorologists at the National Hurricane Center say Melissa is the strongest hurricane of the year, with wind gusts reaching 175 miles an hour. Melissa is expected to move on to Cuba, parts of Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, but it is not expected to have a major impact on the U.S. Well, back in Montana, one Billings nonprofit is shining a light on a problem that is becoming all too common. In 2024 alone, Billings police responded to nearly 250 missing or runaway persons cases. Over the weekend, there was a happy ending to one such case, and our Isabel Spartz reports.
When kids disappear,
I'm just sick with worry, because I don't know where she's at.
It can be a heartbreaking scenario for families.
Within 24 hours of hitting the streets, they will be approached to be human trafficked. So that's a scary number.
Over the weekend, 14-year-old Callie Levitt was missing for 3 days and was luckily found safe Sunday night.
When a child runs, it's very stressful. The parents are very worried.
Georgia Katie sees this constant problem all throughout Yellowstone County.
Most young people run away due to family conflict.
As the executive director of Tumbleweed, a nonprofit that assists homeless youth and runaways, she's seen over 700 young adults utilize their services annually.
We're crisis interventionists, and that's what we do best. And then we'll plug in the resources that need to be plugged in for that family.
In 2024, Billings police saw 245 runaway reports. Currently, there are 12 teens aged 13 to 17 listed as missing in the Montana Missing Persons database. Serious numbers. And on October 1st, the nonprofit was awarded a federal grant to better assist those kids.
We're collaborating with Youth Services Center, so we have a bed available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This allows us to place them in a safe space, let the family cool down, then we gather all back up and do family mediation.
Running away is not classified as a crime. Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office saw 22 missing persons reports in 2024, and so far in 2025 have taken 23. Sheriff Mike Linder clarified that some may be classified as runaways or are found shortly after, but are still listed as such. While many are case dependent, Katie wants to remind teens and families that help is always available.
I tell young people out there, if they're feeling like running away and if it's conflict at home and you do go out the door, please call Tumbleweed so we can get you off the streets to a safe space, let your parents know you're safe, and then start working on some services.
In Billings, Isabel Spartz, MTN News.
Isabel, thank you for your reporting. Well, some scary moments in an Albertsons parking lot last night as 3 vehicles erupted in flames. Crews now say they know what started the fire. It all started around 5:15 at the Albertsons on 53rd and Grand. The Billings Fire Department says a locksmith ambulance started on fire. Now, those flames quickly spread, engulfing 2 other vehicles as well, a Jeep Compass and a Prius. Firefighters arrived on scene and were able to put out the flames before they caused any further damage. As of this morning, the fire marshal says the fire was caused by an electrical failure in the driving compartment of the locksmith vehicle. No one was injured in the incident. Meanwhile, Billings police are still investigating a late-night shooting that left 1 person hurt. It's a situation we brought you first here on Montana This Morning yesterday. Officers were called just after midnight Monday to the 1200 block of North 24th Street, where they found a victim lying in the road with gunshot wounds. Now, the person was treated on scene and taken to the hospital. There's still no word on their condition or if anyone is in custody. A new ski season is on the horizon for many of us, getting ready for a chance to hit the slopes. Now it will mark the debut of Red Lodge's improved triple chair, as Red Lodge Mountain spent the summer assuring its safety. This comes after tragedy struck last March when a passenger was knocked from the chair during powerful high winds. This morning, our Charlie Klepp shows us what's new.
It's beginning to feel more and more like winter, with ski and snowboard season fast approaching. And on Friday, Red Lodge Mountain announced that the triple chair will once again be operational following a tragedy at the end of last ski season. It was a moment that rattled not just Montana, but the entire country.
This one was just such an unfortunate confluence of circumstances.
On March 10th, when 37-year-old Jeff Zenny was killed due to accidental blunt force after powerful winds knocked him from the triple chairlift.
It's very rare to have a death on a ski lift in the United States. The last one before this one was in 2016.
That moment led to the closure of the lift for the season, and also discussion about lift safety from experts like Wyoming ski blogger Peter Landsman.
Mr. Zenny was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
On Friday, the mountain announced on Facebook that the lift would reopen at the start of this season following some extensive repairs. They wrote, "We involved independent experts, including professional weather forecasters and structural engineers, and have taken steps not only to repair but also to add redundant safety measures to the triple chair. Those modifications include the reinforcement of towers and haul ropes, as well as the installation of more anemometers."
It sounds like they've added a number of them down the line so you can see what the lift is doing, not just at the very top, but all along the line, both direction and speed.
Landsman says the anemometers will help give the mountain more accurate wind speed readings along the lift line instead of just at the bottom or the top.
That's particularly important on this lift because it's a very long lift. You can't see the whole line from either the bottom or the top.
Modifications Landsman says are encouraging, but he says he was surprised that restraint bars weren't mentioned as well.
I think in a perfect world, every ski resort operator would want as many of the chairs on their mountain to have restraint bars as possible.
Those bars are required on any new chairlift built today. The Landsman recognized that on an older lift like the triple chair, it could be a challenge.
So I'm guessing they looked at it and they weren't able to do it for this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the future at some point this lift gets restraint bars.
MTN got a hold of the Red Lodge Mountain leadership, who says they'll be more prepared to speak about the upgrades next week. Landsman says it's clear that they have done what they can this summer to make visitors safe.
Certainly, I would have no qualms about getting on this lift anytime this season.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Charlie, thank you for the update. And as of now, a lawsuit is still pending against Red Lodge Mountain in the death of Jeff Zenny. Well, over the weekend, winter arrived early in Yellowstone, forcing road closures and causing a mess for drivers. All roads south of Mammoth Hot Springs have been closed since Saturday evening. Park officials say staff responded to more than 30 accidents, stranded vehicles, and slide-offs as snow and ice took over the roads. Crews have been working to clear the way, and conditions are being reassessed to determine when travel can safely resume. The road between Gardner and Cook City does remain open.